Hello 5th grade, Miss Glassmeyer here with your virtual fishing lesson featuring a very special guest. You're my father.
Good afternoon.
He is here to share his expertise with us, so let's go. First things first.
You need a fishing rod. Well, you don't really need a fishing rod. You could use a cane pole or a stick, but I like to use fishing rods because it's the way it is. There's a couple different ones. This one's closed face reel. This is a pretty easy reel to use. Just about anybody can pick it up and use it. You push this button, cast like that, then you just reel it in with the handle. This is an open face reel. This is my favorite, it's a spinning reel. And this one's a little trickier to use. You flip the bail over, you grab the string with your finger, you cast and let go. And then it's the same thing, just reel it in. Hopefully there's a fish on the end when you reel it in.
Next up,
lures. Now if you don't want to use worms or grasshoppers or crickets or live bait, which work great, you can always move on to some type of artificial lures. And there's a variety of them. You got one of my favorites is a little spinner. It's real easy to use. You just tie it on, cast it out and reel it back in. You don't have to twitch it or anything. It's self-acting. It's really good. Then you got what you call a silver spoon, because it looks like you took a handle of a spoon and just cut it off and welded a hook onto it. And these are pretty good. This has a little bar right here in the front. Oh, that makes it weedless. This little tab here will keep it from getting caught in weeds and tree limbs and stuff as you reel it in. Then you've got rubber worms. Rubber worms, they act like a real worm if you fish them right. You'll cast them out and you'll reel them in real slow, and they drag on the bottom, and hopefully you can pick up various types of fish. It just has a hook in it. You feed the hook through and it kind of sets right underneath the skin of the worm. Then when a fish bites it, the hook comes out, you set it, and hopefully you can reel the fish in. And this one looks like a frog. You just tie it on your line, you cast it out, and you'll twitch it in and hopefully attract a fish. Here's another one of my little favorites. This is it's a Rapala. It looks like a little minnow. You cast it out, steadily reel it in, or what works better is to kind of twitch it along. You twitch it and let it set for a couple seconds and twitch it again. And a lot of times that twitch action will make a fish think it's like a wounded fish and an easy dinner. These are like a rubber bodied jig. It's a hook with a lead head on it, and it's painted up to look like a head with an eye. And these, same thing, cast them out, let it sink, and then you can work it. These are used a lot for crappie, bluegill, white bass, any number of fish. So those are kind of the artificial ones. Probably the best way to start fishing, and you can do this with a rod and reel or a cane pole, is just with a hook. So that's a hook. It's got a little point on it and a little barb so that when the hook goes through, it won't come back out very easily. Then you got a sinker, and there's various types of sinkers. This is called a bullet sinker, but it's mainly for rubber worms, but you can use it with the hook. And then there's a couple different types of bobbers. This is the one you probably see a lot of on TV with kids that fish. And then you use this type of bobber here. You run a string through it and it'll slide up and down. You can set it for different depths. So that's the basics.
Okay, so our first step in fishing is to prepare our fishing pole. So Dad has already went around and taken the first couple steps. He has strung the line. He's added a bobber for us to be able to track where the line is and to see when the fish bites. We have a sinker. The purpose of the sinker is to add more weight to your line so that way it can help you cast further. And then finally on the end is the hook where Dad will attach the bait. So we are preparing the hook before we cast our line. We have our live bait here. And so I'm going to stick my hook into the worm, and then I'm going to loop around again. He's fidgeting a little bit on me. And then one more time just to make sure it's secure on there. And now we're ready to go. So an important part of fishing is the casting of the line. As you get started with casting, you want to first rest your pointer finger on the finger rest on the bottom of the rod, And then you want to take your thumb and rest it on the lever on this closed-faced reel. As you're getting prepared to cast, you're going to push down on the button. You're going to swing the rod back, and then when you're ready to release into the water, you're going to let go. That will release your line and help you with casting. All right, now you're getting a casting in action shot. I have my pointer finger on the finger rest, my thumb on the lever of this closed-faced reel. I'm going to push down on the lever. As I do that, I'm bringing my rod back, and then as I release, I'm letting go and casting into the water. So the next reel that we're going to show you is a open face spinning reel. Different than the one that we showed you before. When you go to cast this, you're going to take your hand right in the middle of your fingers. You're going to slide that in where this bar is to grip the pole. Your thumb's going to be up top, and then with your pointer finger, you're going to take the line and press it to the pole. There's a little bar or lever here that you need to flip over. And then similar to how we released the lever with the other rod, you're going to cast your rod back like this, and as you move forward, you're going to release the line into the water. Now we're going to wait patiently, keeping an eye on our bobber that's floating at the surface of the water to see whether we get a bite. We'll see that and notice that if there's movement in the bobber.
Here.
He's coming. Wait.
Here's how we take it off. We have little hemostats,
Let's get a
and
look.
then you'll grab them.
What kind of fish is that?
This is a bluegill. So that's your bluegill, and see dorsal fins raise up. They got little spikes on them, and they'll stick you a little bit. That is a bluegill.
Hey,
Missed last
yes.
line.
Oh, woohoo!
It's a bass.
Look at that. Second one. Aren't you proud of me?